Hello, it is Friday, October 13th, 2023. I'm Chris Remo, and welcome back to the New York Times Crossword Daily Solve. It's a Friday crossword, which means a themeless puzzle for us today. None of that silliness yesterday with hidden letters and redacted cells, just solving clues, but they might themselves be tricky or misdirecting. And this tricky or misdirecting edition of the Daily Solve has been brought to us by Mitchell Turek, William, Camtron, and, as always, the indomitable Showmaster and the incredible Horan family. So thank you so much to the 5 of them, benefactors of the Daily Solve Patreon campaign, for their generous support. They are, of course, sustaining this channel, bringing us this series. I'm very grateful to them for that. So thank you to those patrons. Thank you to everybody who's a patron of the campaign. If you'd like to become one yourself, you can head over to patreon.com/dailysolve or click the link on the description field, which will take you to the bonus videos available to patrons, as well as the official mug for benefactors. And I do now owe patrons today's mini puzzle speed solve, so I'll get to that after this recording, as well as the latest Boss Words Fall Themelessly competition puzzle. I have to get to that as well. So look forward to those on the Patreon campaign. Anyway, thanks again to all of the patrons. And thanks if you've subscribed to the channel on YouTube. That, of course, is a big help. And you can join the Daily Solve Discord chat server as well. There's a link to that friendly chat community in the description field, so check it out. All right, let's get on to the crossword. This is the 4th construction by John Clark Levin. It is, of course, a Friday themeless crossword, and it was edited, as always, by Will Shorts. So let's start solving, see what's in store for us today. We have one's getting lit at a party, maybe. I mean, you read this and you think it's being used in a colloquial sense, and it may well be, but I'm wondering if it's a bit of misdirection and maybe it's simply candles or something referring to a birthday party. Could be. Let's look at the crosses. Becoming a pop star error. I've never heard of this. I mean, if I had to guess what it was, I would guess MTV. Eureka. Aha. Yeah, that works. Hamilton. My first thought would be this is referring to a $10 bill, a 10, which features the face of Alexander Hamilton. What about this? Urban many potato dishes. Parsley obviously doesn't fit. What would fit in 5 letters as an herb? Chive. Choppers. Could refer to teeth, could refer to helicopters, could refer to, I think a motorcycle is sometimes referred to as a chopper. Bret Easton Ellis is the author of the novel American Psycho, so there's that. Scatterbrain. I'm not sure offhand. What about this? Hit 2011 film based on a 2009 novel by Catherine Stockett. I'm not sure offhand. And here we have tame, metaphorically. Not sure about that either. Let's look up, keep going. Some subway art. Graffiti or murals doesn't fit, or mosaics if it's tile. Interminably, to no end, or at no end, interminably. On and on. Rock subgenre named for its aggressive vocals. I think it might be screamo, which I don't know that I've ever heard a screamo track, despite its redolence of my name. But emo, I think, at least for a time, I sort of considered the official rock subgenre of the New York Times crossword. Haven't seen it much recently, but occasionally you get this variant of screamo, and I bet that's what this is in here. 50.1% technically. Well, that would technically be most of a given group, a majority of it. Way back when, once upon a time, that sort of thing. Emmy-nominated Gilbert. I don't know. I don't even know if this is a given name or a surname, to be honest. Yeah, I'm not sure. Some speech starters. Some speech starters. I don't know. Napoleon Dynamite setting. That, oh right, yeah. I think that film was set in Idaho. Which I probably wouldn't have remembered if not for this A here, but that was helpful. I think that's probably right. Let's keep looking around. Ajax competitor. So Ajax was, of course, a classical hero, but in this case, I assume it's referring to a cleaning fluid. Ajax. It's a sort of kitchen cleaner. Lysol, what would be a competitor that would fit here? Not sure. What a bore. Snore, maybe? Or the brackets here generally mean we're going to be contributing some sort of sound, might be made with your mouth, but isn't going to be verbal words. And this, I think, effectively sort of fits that in the sense that you wouldn't actually be saying snore, you'd be making a snoring sound, and that would convey what a bore. So I think this is reasonable. Oh, this is mosaics. Some subway art. There we go. So then what about this? Oh, interminably, on and on. Yes, that does fit. So here we have comet. That's a cleaning fluid. Comet, I do know of that. And then Sarah Gilbert. That name sounds familiar. I couldn't tell you who it is, but that must be right. So Emmys are the U.S. television awards. Pitching coach. Well, it's some sort of teacher. Pitching coach. A voice teacher, if you think of maybe pitching in the sense of hitting a pitch vocally, singing a correct pitch, that looks reasonable. Some speech starters. And yeah, I just don't see this one. I'm sorry about that. What about this? Pour on the affection. You could dote on somebody, pour on the affection. So, sort of spoil them or coddle them or tend to their needs. Oh, anecdotes. So, right, okay, you could start a speech with an anecdote to kind of lead in with something that, sort of an interesting story that will then be relevant to your point. Where more hot dogs are sold than at all Major League Baseball stadiums combined. I have no clue. An interesting, Costco maybe? So Costco, which is a wholesale, it's international. It started in the U.S., but it isn't only in the U.S. It's a wholesaler. They sell, it's sort of big, cases and containers of food and other things that you would buy for cheaper prices, and it's membership based. But they also, this I do think might be specific to the U.S. They sell hot dogs and pizza in their sort of courtyards at incredibly low prices. I think they sell them certainly. I think they're at this point. I read an article about this once. I think they're not profitable, and they may even be sold at a loss at this point because the CEO of the company refused to raise the price of the hot dogs, despite the fact that they may well be a money loser, but they're sort of considered an important value. Anyway, I think this might be the answer. That's really funny. Anyway, gender neutral pronoun could be they or them. I don't know. There's not really any way to infer without the cross, unfortunately. So we'll just have to leave that there for now. Commercial follower of Mick or Ness. Mick Cafe or Nescafe? Yeah, that's right. So Mick Cafe, a McDonald's coffee brand, and then Nescafe, a Nestle coffee brand. All right, focus of some modern ethical debates. Oh, ChatGPT, right. Wonder if this is the first time ChatGPT has made it into the New York Times crossword. So this is referring to the large language model interface that, the kind of AI chatbot that is certainly going to be an incredibly common pillar of ethical and, I guess, sort of labor regulation debates in the coming years and decades. Junkyard warning. Growl, a junkyard dog, maybe. Threat could be, if you're under threat, you're in peril. Main characters in Booksmart and Easy A. So those are both films about high school students, teens. Flag bearer could be a referee, maybe? Flag bearer. Oh, because, right, you could sort of raise a flag to indicate a foul or something. So house painted with polka dots, you might say. An eyesore, I suppose you might call such a thing an eyesore if it were a large house with big polka dots. That would be strange. Paramount requirement, question mark. Screen could be Paramount, the film studio, screen something. Screenings? I'm not really sure what we're looking for here. Probably starts with screen. I assume it's referring to Paramount, the film studio, just based on the SCRE beginning. Ads as an app. Well, if you add an app to your phone, for instance, you install it. So installs, there we go. Makes screen look all the more likely. Where early tablets were first unveiled. Right, this is Sinai, which a similar clue to this really stumped me in I think it was the most recent Boss Words Fall Theme Sleep puzzle that I did solve on the Patreon campaign. And the answer was Horeb, which was sort of familiar to me, but I wasn't really sure what the distinction was with Sinai. And I looked it up, and it actually seems that, I suppose, biblical scholars don't actually really agree on whether Sinai and Horeb are the same mountain, and they might be, and they might have not have been intended to be as such anyway. There we go. So this is the one that was more obvious to me. And it's referring to the the story of Moses getting the tablets with the commandments. To the point. If someone's speaking in a way that's to the point, it's maybe terse, sort of short, quick, to the point language. Beverage brand founded in Osaka. Asahi. That's a brewery. Could be. Let's try. You often find that in Japanese restaurants. Let's see if that works with the crosses. Seeing red. Yes, if you're seeing red, you're enraged. Raw fish dish could be sashimi. Oops. Speaking of Japanese restaurants. And to make things even would be to tie it up. So you could tie up a match, a game, by evening the score. Here we have a runner with vestigial winds, emu, and then a flightless bird, and then some smokeless tobacco dip, right? So yes, that form of tobacco, that kind of sort of chewing tobacco type of thing. Okay, Paramount requirement, screen test. I see. So maybe a requirement for an audition, a screen test, to determine if an actor is suitable for a role in a film. Music festival lineup. Music festival lineup. I don't know. Absolutely hate. Detest or abhor or I'm not sure. What about this? Where the Tokugawa shogunate was established. Oh, Edo? Am I thinking of the right? I can't remember if Edo is. I can't remember if it's Tokyo or Kyoto, or if I'm just completely on the wrong track with that. That's annoying. Anyway, I'm pretty confident that's the answer. Scatterbrain. Not seeing that either. Choppers. Yeah, I'm not sure. Herb and many potato dishes. I have this V now. Maybe this is chive. Maybe candles was wrong. That was a bit speculative. Well, probably still ends with an S. And aha, Eureka, aha, yeah. Eureka, I found it. That probably is. So let's put in chive. Does that help with this? Matches. That's exactly the same idea. It's just a different thing, for the same purpose, basically. All right, well, there we go. Let's see. Hamilton is a 10. It is a $10 bill. Becoming a pop star era. It is MTV. Hit 2011 film based on a 2009 novel. Oh, it must be The Help. There we go. Okay. I haven't actually seen that film, but I know of it. And then Choppers. Oh, helos? Is that? Yeah, that's a kind of jargony way to refer to a helicopter, maybe a kind of military jargon sort of thing. And then tame, metaphorically, vanilla, right? So you could describe someone or something as vanilla, and you're implying that it's, they're sort of a bit meek maybe, or kind of unastonishing. Scatterbrain. Oh, space cadet. Yes, okay. Someone who's a bit of a scatterbrain. They're sort of out to lunch. They're not very focused on the task at hand. All in a way. Obsessed. If you're obsessed with something, you're all in on it, you could say. That's reasonable. Let's check the crosses. Who said issues are never simple? One thing I'm proud of is that very rarely will you hear me simplify the issues. Could be Obama, maybe? In 5 letters starting with an O. Let's look at the crosses there. Waste bin, I guess. Waste bin, rubbish bin. European hotel amenity, a bidet, maybe? Sure. Let's see. To the stars in Latin. Ad astra. There we go. Latin motto. Junkyard. Oh. Didn't we have a junkyard warning somewhere else? I could have sworn we did. Was it this and I just looked at it before but didn't put it in? Or was it actually a different answer? I can't remember. Let's see. Maybe it was just this and I didn't. Oh no, it was. Yeah, here it is, a growl. Oh, look at that. And it's it's symmetrically disposed in the grid. So if we rotated the grid 180 degrees, it would be in exactly the same position. Now, that's a funny little touch in a themeless crossword anywhere. So that could be a snarling dog as opposed to a growling dog over there. So we have maybe both sides of the junkyard are protected by our 2 guard dogs, our symmetrically disposed guard dogs. Figure with exactly 10 digits. Could be 10 digits as in fingers, but, oh, mermaid. Oh, I see, right. Because the mermaid has 10 fingers but no toes, which would be additional digits. So only 10 rather than 20 digits. That's a clever clue. And obviously you read it and it looks like a number with 10 digits in it, but no, that's not what we're referring to here. Polynesian staple taro root? I think that's probably the case. And food. And then world capital where it's illegal to display the Soviet hammer and sickle. Right, Riga, I suppose. That's interesting. I had no idea that, I didn't know that was the case. That's interesting. Obviously a legacy of the sort of post-Soviet reaction. And then loose is, if someone's loose, maybe a sort of suspect in a crime or something, they're at large. 2-bit small time, I suppose. Yeah. It seems reasonable. There's small fry, but wouldn't fit small. Yeah, I think it's probably small time, but we'll check it. Anyway, to absolutely hate something is to loathe it. There we go. And then a bestseller is a hit. So a hit film, for instance, or a hit book maybe would be a bestseller. Music festival lineup. Music festival lineup. Not sure what this is, unfortunately. Here we have a kind of phase. And here we have the point of no return. The Rubicon? Right, okay. So metaphorically, the phrase crossing the Rubicon is often used in general terms to refer to a point of no return. It's well, the decision has been made, or what have you. Kind of palm or berry. Acai, there we go. Wow, it's actually been, has it been months maybe since we've seen the official sort of superfood berry of the New York Times crossword, the acai? It might have been. Don't remember it happening recently. Early sports video game. Pong, I suppose you could loosely call a sports video game in that it kind of vaguely represents ping pong, I suppose. Although it's a ping pong in which the ball never bounces on the table being represented, I guess, which would be pretty extraordinary. But does bounce on the walls, so it represents a different sort of form of ping pong, I guess. Okay, music festival lineup is... I'm still not sure. I'm still not seeing this, yeah. One step ahead of, say. And here we have Foe of Ferocious Flea in Hanna-Barbera cartoons. I have never heard A ferocious flea, I have to admit. Oh, is it Adam Ant, though? I have at least heard of that character. Is it Adam? It's Atom Ant, I think. Atom. Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen an episode of this, so I'm not familiar with Ferocious Flea, but it must be that. Let's look here. If you're one step ahead of someone, you're on to them? Yeah, okay, I'm on to you, you could say. I'm one step ahead. I know what you're up to. Wish me luck, here I go, I suppose you could say. Highest rated daytime talk show in American history. It must be Oprah. That sounds correct. And then a kind of phase. Oval, oral. Is oral maybe sort of speaking of small children have an oral phase where they kind of want to put everything in their mouth? I think that's probably what that's referring to. And then Waze calculation. So Waze spelled W-A-Z-E. That's a sort of traffic routing app. So a route. Oh, porta potties, a music festival lineup. Right, of course. I mean, that is ubiquitous at music festivals, is portable outdoor toilets. So setting for a green wedding, perhaps, an arbor, so referring to a kind of wooded area, maybe. And then that's it. That was the Friday crossword. Some tricky things in there, and I put myself on the wrong track in some cases, such as my early fill of candles, which was wrong, but had just enough correct letters in it to allow me to fill some things and feel like I was on the right track. Other than that, I think it went relatively straightforwardly. I mean, it was a slightly tricky Friday crossword, but didn't ever get completely stopped up, which was nice. So there we have it. That was and we had Screamo, which I've not seen in the crossword for a while, the return of acai, and a very nice sort of double, a kind of dog, growling, snarling dog reference here. And that was that. That was the Friday crossword by John Clark Levin. And I'm going to get right on to the clues from yesterday's puzzle now, because there were actually several comments on yesterday's puzzle that seemed to bear reading on today. So here we go. Time Gentleman explains, the John Wayne movie McHugh is actually not a Western, but a Dirty Harry-esque police thriller. According to the poster tagline, McHugh, he's a busted cop, his gun is unlicensed, his methods are unlawful, and his story is incredible. And Dragon Traces says, set in Seattle, a tiny bit of it was filmed in the crime analysis unit of the Seattle Police Department, which my father ran. He appears in the background for that long. It's a funny, good, interesting fact. All right, Derek Rogers says, I think the Jack's clue had an extra bit of punnery with retirement, meaning putting tires back on a car, retirement. I really enjoyed that clue when I came across it. It was remiss of me not to have picked up on that pun. I'm very sorry about that, and thank you to everyone who pointed it out. Tom Orsman says, you never went back to 20 Down, which was the pan that sounds like strolls, which is walks, W-O-K-S, which sounds like walks in the sense of taking a walk, W-A-L-K. I didn't pick up on that either, so I was missing all of the puns yesterday. Thank you, Tom, for that. Chemo explains, Famous Amos is indeed a real person, the cookie brand namesake. Wally Amos was a television personality and talent agent who signed and worked with Simon & Garfunkel, Sam Cooke, Diana Ross, and a few other big names. He would often bring cookies to big meetings or send them to attract clients, and people loved them so much that when he left show business, he started his own cookie company. I didn't know any of that, so thanks for that information. And Brian Spurrier explains, in math, theta and psi are used for variable angles, while alpha, beta, and gamma are used for constant angles, in the same way that x, y, and z are variable lengths, while a, b, and c are constants. I had no idea. That's incredibly interesting to know. I hope I remember it. I might not, but it's good information. And now at least we'll remember that that concept exists, even if I don't remember which are used for which. Brian Spurrier also explains, I think maybe Signors has in England in the clue because it uses the English plural s rather than the Italian signori. That is, of course, the case. You're completely right. That didn't occur to me at the time, but yes, that is absolutely why it was clued as such. And there we go. Those were the 6 comments I pulled out from yesterday's puzzle. Thanks as always to everybody who leaves those. I do always enjoy reading them. And that's that for today's video. I'll be back tomorrow for the Saturday crossword. Another unthemed, perhaps trickier puzzle than this. You'll just have to come back and see. Could be the toughest crossword of the week. That's usually how it goes. Anyway, until then, please do have an excellent remainder of your Friday. Take care.